Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. And I'd like to welcome you to the organization YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, my spiritual name is Suzeranda Melchizedek, and I'm a psychic, a channel. I channel books. This is my shipping department, and the organization shipping department, we send out books here to our independent members of the organization, and we're working to expand that. I write from this building, I send out only to our independent members. There are only 200 families, and then everybody else we're working on getting the professional publishing team together so the books can be shared with everyone. Eventually there'll be stores around the country, and we'll be able to take all this channeled information that we have and share it with everyone. But right now we're working to prove that it exists, that it works. Okay, so what I wanted to talk today about is the idea of the letter to the Supreme Court and what it does with the economy. The U.S. economy is not in good shape right now. There has been a lot of destabilization with Donald Trump's policies, his maximum pressure campaign with the tariffs on the other countries, and how he's dealing with the changing all the way that the United States has worked for a long time. Okay, but I'm not saying that, I'm not putting a judgment on it. I'm saying that that's how one way is it, and that's like the power games that go down that drag people down. And then there's the I'm not saying the Democrats are better, because in previous videos I said that if you don't address the root cause of the problem, it makes the problem worse. It'll go on for a while, but then it just goes also down. So what is going to enable it to go up? And that's what I wanted to talk to you today about it. The letter to the Supreme Court was introduced in 2017, and it's been slowly trickling through the court system, and there's been a lot of resistance to it. The idea that introducing God's law or universal law into the legal system has been tried before, and people have tried to refute it, to rebut it, to erase it. It's like redefine it. All these different ideas. It's like we don't want God's law into it, but this time it may be going through. And if that's the case, that's a really good thing for everybody. Even if it seems like it's not, the idea of, let's say, going down, we want to go up. And the way that universal law works is it pegs our country on a very high level. That's what I can talk about today, is how it will peg our country on a very high level. When you're in a crisis situation and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do, that when you're backed into a corner like the European countries or the countries that are dealing with tariffs, you don't want to get into a battle with anyone. You don't want to destroy what you've built up over a long time. It's just like a misunderstanding, and you want to figure out how to do it. Well, the way to deal with it is, when you're backed into a corner, is to turn around and then do what's in everyone's best interest, because you have the right to do what's in everyone's best interest. Think about that. You have the right to do that. Then basically what you want to do then is to take what God has given you, your talents and gifts, and to create a niche based on your talents and gifts. And that's what our Constitution does, is that it's based on our talents and gifts. We are a nation that, like, say, the Statue of Liberty, we got that because France recognized that we were standing on liberty. We were standing on the principles that's what the letter to the Supreme Court does, is it addresses the 7 principles that create a sense of abundance and a balance and everything. Equality means is for the first requirement for conflict resolution. Liberty, it protects your unalienable rights. People who've been denied their liberty have lost their unalienable rights. So it's like anybody who tries to take away your unalienable rights is fighting God, because that's where we get. Our founding fathers said we are endowed by our Creator, not by the Constitution, by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, the right to create our life without interference, to be able to be treated fairly and equally, and to have a voice in our government. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We have the right to create our life without interference. And that's what we need to do, is we need to say, I have the right to create my life without interference. Is that from God? You interfere in my life, basically, you're causing, you are facing the backlashes of God's law, of universal law. So the idea of transitioning out of this idea of the oppressive government and things like that, which is my printer is having a say right now. What we can do is we have the right to function, to do what's in everyone's best interest. When you're backed into a corner, you do what's in everyone's best interest, and then you start to function based on the gifts, talents, and gifts that God gave you, which is what I'm a psychic, I'm a channel. These are my gifts from God. I'm Suzerain Melchizedek. I have the right to channel books based on my own talents and gifts that I got from God, the Creator of us all. My niche is my books that make me unique. I'm not writing a book that is like, I am writing a cookbook, but that's basically something that I'll get into later, but it's based on something that is unique. So our Constitution is what makes our country unique. It enables everybody to have their unalienable rights. Our government is unique. It brought people here. It's no other country has the same constitution that we have, but we can share our niche with other people. We're an industrialized nation, but other countries are industrialized nations. We are military strength, but other countries have military strengths also. And we are an agricultural nation, but other countries can do that better than we can, you could say, because we rely on food coming from Canada and Mexico, and it creates a strong global economy. But what sets us unique is our niche, is our Constitution, and the constitutional rights that we have. So now the basis, you could say the letter to the Supreme Court, which you can find on the organization website, in the reference menu section. Basically what that does is it allows us to start to transition into a global renaissance where everybody is functioning from their niche, and by the talents and gifts allow us to create from our God or our natural resources, and then our natural resources or our talents and gifts allow us to create this niche, and then that allows us to participate in the global renaissance. We can go from having, let's say, a stagnant economy to being part of a global renaissance. And that's one of our projects, is we have U.S. survival cards that allow people to create a niche based on talents and gifts. And a lot of times the cards, that is one of the things that we'll be selling in our store, our organization store, when we go to Washington, D.C. and set up our store in Washington, D.C. and in other countries, not in other countries, but around here in the United States. We're going to be also setting up stores around the United States, my bookstores, once they get going and we prove that they work. And then then the organization store that'll have things like the U.S. survival cards. But right now, I am working with the organization, the people, to help overcome these issues that we have on a global basis. We're like a microcosm of the whole world. Okay, and if we can bring peace amongst the 200 families in our organization, then like a pantograph, we can share our talents. We can share the same insights on the global level. Okay, so now that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, was this transition from like a stagnant economy, which is where we're headed now as all these tariffs and everything go on, and the policies that are so oppressive to the people. People stand up and protest and they have no voice. But now what we have is a solution to that, and that allows the protesters to have a voice. I called Senator Wyden, my senator, this morning, and talked about how we have a way to overcome one of our projects has a way to overcome a stagnant economy. Okay, and right now they're talking in the Senate about dealing with this big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump has introduced and is trying to get it through the Congress. Okay, so you see, it is possible to start to turn things around and to move forward and to function on a higher level just by doing the simplest things. You think, what can I do to solve problems? Well, why don't you just think about creating a niche based on your talents and gifts, and then watch what we're doing now, be watchdogs, and as I introduce these ideas, then you can take the same ideas and apply them in your own life. You can maybe beat us to the punch, so to speak, by understanding that it's simple to do this. You can take what we have, and if you want to run forward, not with the idea that you're going to steal our ideas, but that you can apply them in your own life, and that's more than I have no problem with that whatsoever. That's the whole idea, is to apply these information in your life. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. Just, like, share and subscribe, and allow this information to go out to the family and friends, and see what they can do to. I'll talk about all the different ideas on an individual basis in future videos. So keep informed, keep up, be a watchdog. Thank you.